Chapter 7 The Cunning Fruit. This story is about a man by the name of Bhanu Verma and his experience with a cunning fruit. Now let us see what that cunning fruit was. Udanka was a rich merchant with a vast business in North India. He had travelled all over the country and had seen many amazing sights during his travel. One day his son Bhanu Verma said to him, "Father, you have seen so many new places. I have seen nothing. I am very keen to see the sea you described to me. Please let me go to the seaside." Udanka thought it was a good idea too, and made arrangements for his son to travel to a South Indian town by the seashore, where he could stay with one of Udanka's friends. Now Udanka was a very rich merchant who had a very vast big business in North India, and he had traveled to a lot of places all over the country. And one day his son Bhanu Verma told his father that he too also wanted to travel to see the seaside, the seashore, all those places which his father described him. So Udanka made arrangements for his son to go to a seashore city where his friends stayed, so that he could stay there. Thus Bhanu Verma landed up in a town by the sea. His father's friend greeted him warmly and gave him a nice room in their house. The next day Bhanu Verma set off to see the town. As he walked in the bazaar, he saw a man selling jackfruit. Now Bhanu Verma had seen apples, oranges, mangoes, even jamuns, but a jackfruit was something he had never set eyes upon. That means he had never seen the jackfruit ever. What a strange shape it had, and what a sweet smell. "How do you eat this?" he asked the man selling it. "Cut it, eat the fruit, and throw away the seed," replied the man. It was very simple. You cut the fruit, eat it, and then throw away the seed. This is what the man who was selling the fruit told him. When Bhanu Verma heard that one big fruit cost only 2 annas, he was delighted and bought one. He carried it up to his room and proceeded to cut it open. He thought that it was very cheap for 2 annas. That is the currency that was used at that time. These were coins. So it was only for 2 anna, and he thought it was really very cheap. So he bought it and he went up to his room to cut it and eat it up. He ate and ate the sweet fruit. It was like honey. The taste of the fruit was like honey. Finally, when he was done, he realized that the gum from the fruit had made his hands all sticky. There was a lot of gum from the fruit. Jackfruit has a lot of gum, and it is very sticky. So all his hands were very sticky. To get rid of the sticky gum, he wiped his hands on his dress, but that only made his dress sticky. To clean his hands, he wiped his hands on his own clothes, and that made his clothes also very sticky. He then tried washing his hands with water, but the gum remained. He slapped his head in despair, and now his face too became sticky. He put his hand probably on his head, and then his face also became sticky. Then he remembered that there was a sack of cotton kept outside the door. He crept out quietly so that no one would see him and tried to wipe his hands and face with the cotton. Now, because already his body and his clothes were sticky, the cotton also stuck to his face all over him. But he only managed to cover himself with cotton, which now stuck on to his hands and face. The more cotton he used, the more it stuck to him. Feeling ashamed, he went to the backyard, the outside of the house, part of the house, the courtyard kind of place, where he knew a pot of hot water was kept. By then it was evening, and his host was calling him for dinner. Not wanting to appear before him in this state, Bhanu Varma hid behind a tree. The people of the house called out for him for some time. Then, thinking he must still be out somewhere, they took the vessel of hot water inside and shut the door. Bhanu Varma looked this way and that. There was only the sheep shed now for him to sleep in. He went there and lay down among the sheep. Now they had kept hot water outside so that when he would come in, he would have a bath. But when they called out to him, he was nowhere to be seen because he was hiding behind the tree. So they took away the hot water also and they went away. Now Bhanu Varma had nowhere to go except to sleep in the sheep shed which was outside. That night, some thieves came to steal the sheep. When they saw Bhanu Varma covered in cotton, they thought he was the biggest sheep of all and carried him away. The thieves thought that he was the biggest sheep and they carried him away. Poor Bhanu Varma dared not open his mouth to shout. At last, when they reached the outskirts of the town, they put him down. One close look at him and they fled, taking him to be a ghost. Now poor Bhanu Varma, he was scared. He couldn't even dare to shout. And when those thieves reached the outskirts, when they put him down and when they had a close look finally at him, they thought he was a ghost and they ran away. Bhanu Varma stood by the roadside, wondering what to do. A milkmaid is a lady who milks the cow, who was walking by, saw the young man covered with cotton and asked him what had happened. When he told her, she laughed for a long time because she understood that he did not know what to do. Then she said, "You must always rub oil on your hands before you eat jackfruit. Otherwise, the gum will stick to your hands and neither water nor cotton will take it away." She told him that you should always rub oil on your hands before eating jackfruit. So, to help him, she was very kind and took him to her house, where she gently removed all the cotton and the gum. Then Bhanu Varma set off back to town. The lady, the maid, she took him to her house, and removed all the cotton and the gum using oil. After some weeks, when he came home, Udanka asked him, "So, what did you see and what did you learn?" Bhanu Varma sighed and said, "Father, I saw many strange things, learned many new things, but the biggest lesson I learned was, whatever you do, never eat a jackfruit. It is the most cunning fruit of all." When he came back home after his trip, His father asked him, "What did you see and what did you learn from your trip?" He told his father that he learned a lot of things and he saw a lot of things. But the main thing that he learned was that you should never eat a jackfruit because it is a very cunning fruit. Why is it cunning? It is very sweet, but its gum is so sticky that if you don't use oil and if you don't know how to cut it and eat it, the gum will stick all over you. And he had experienced it well.